Good evening. I'm your host, Dan Stafford with the Midwestern Geek in Cali, and this is our show coverage for Contact in the Desert 2019. You're going to have fun with this one. We went out to Contact in the Desert in Indian Wells, California, and I have a lot for you. So we'll be YouTubing this for you from 42 TARDIS Way, but I have several pre-recorded interviews from the show. Tons of still photos and some interesting stories as well. A little celeb story in here. It's quite a fun time. Charles McKee from Inland Empire Sports and News and I went out and did the coverage together. Charles generally handles still photography for the most part while we're out there, and I usually handle video audio. And here we are. We're going to bring you some show coverage from Contact in the Desert. So let me get over to the infinity screen for a moment here. Hang tight. Okay, there we go. There's some infinity screen for you. And let's bring up some stills here to take a look at. So this was actually the parking we ended up getting here. We had to park way out because the parking right at the event was quite full. And as you can see, the view there was pretty awesome. Mountains in the background. We're in the high desert, Southern California, all the palm trees. It was quite a beautiful walk in. And as we were walking in, this young couple came and walked with us part of the way in. So that gets a little more interesting a little bit later. And then here's the auditorium, the podium in the auditorium, main auditorium actually. And here's some of the crowd waiting for Giorgio from Ancient Aliens to come out on stage. And then here's George Noory and some of the other VIPs. Now, I don't know if you know, George Noory is the radio host for Coast to Coast AM radio, which originally was Art Bell's show back for a while after Midnight in the Desert and some of the other shows that Art Bell did. But George took over from Art later on, and he's still hosting that show. And I actually ended up meeting him there, but that's a little bit later in the story here. And there's George again. He was taking pictures with several people out there, and he was very, very gracious about it. All right, this is actually the view as we were leaving the convention, and I couldn't resist that shot because that mountain in the background, it's so perfect with all this stately palms. It's just incredible. So I wanted to make sure to get that on the way out. And then these flowers, it's interesting, the yellow flowers down low are one kind and they're really pretty, but then up above, the greenery you see here has these little delicate bell-shaped blossoms on. I'm going to see if I can zoom in a little bit, and you can see here some of the blossoms, and they're just little delicate bugle-shaped blossoms. They're all over this thing. It's just stunning when you're actually present there. So we'll back out of that and keep going. And this is the grand entryway with the food court down below and the banners for the convention. And then here's a landscape shot of it. Here's part of the entrance. We were at the convention was at Indian Wells Golf Resort. Now this is out about 20-25 minutes past Palm Springs going east, and you go through Palm Desert to get to Indian Wells, and both of them are quite beautiful. Really, really pretty out there. And then here's the fountain, one of the fountains at the entry to the golf resort. And then here I am with the mannequin at the Saucer brand and Alien Speed brand. Saucer brand is more like casual geek wear. Yeah, they've got the cool saucer logo on everything. And then um, Alien Speed is more athletic wear, and you'll get more out of that in a little bit because they were one of the interviews that I did. Okay, let's get out of that set of pictures. Now let's go to this one. Yeah, that's the young couple that was walking in with us. And the young gal turned out to be quite a talented ukulele player and singer. So she kind of serenaded us as we walked in part of the way. And then here's the fountain at the entrance. A little more close up. And some of the merchandise. Amethyst pendant here, just beautiful. And this is actually a hang drum, or steel drum, depending on what you call it, but very beautifully painted. A little bit of a singing bowl over here, some bells and other stuff. Interesting musical instruments. Alien heads. Love that shot. Lots of pretty merchandise. Now this couple was interesting. They have all kinds of handcrafted alien saucers. Look at the little aliens inside the top there. Some of these are just super cool. Look at all the little aliens in there, and then there's a couple of aliens inside of like almost like a Markram Orc egg. And some of these have really fun names. I'm not sure what that one says, but I think the next one, no, that's where the alien heads were. Ah, here we go. We come in peace. We also come in a giant juicer. And then we have Chicken Itza here. And that one's fun. The aliens met Bozo the Clown. I think that's an antique right there. Yeah, it looks like an antique toy if you ask me. It reminds me of Bozo the Clown. Then, of course, lots of clothing. Very cool stuff. Crystals and pendants and pyramids and all kinds of wonderful stuff. And some very interesting people. I call these two the angelic beings. Are they really dogs? Or are they worthy of being on Men in Black? Now, to be fair, this fellow was actually trying on this helmet from a vendor they had there, but it looked cool. Some of the crowd waiting for JoJo to come out on stage. Yours truly in the background there. View from above down onto the food court. Pretty crowded in that auditorium. Creepers. They're one of the interviews. That's going to be a fun one. And this is the crew manning the booth at Creepers. Crystals, crystals, everywhere crystals. Ah, this is another one of the interviews. That one's an interesting one. Wait until you hear it. Ah, the rock. That rock is super cool. You'll see. And that's also one of the interviews, by the way. Kind of looks like a moai, like an Aztec moai in a way, or Egyptian or something like that. Little energy healing going on. Eric Von Daniken doing book signings for Chariots of the Gods. He's still hanging in there. I read that book back in the 70s. It was still fascinating material. Ah, the free energy demonstration. That's another one of the interviews. This fellow here. Lots of cool books out there. Our gals at registration, they sold me my Contact in the Desert convention tee, which I love. Giorgio from Ancient Aliens. Isis. This is the George Noory Luncheon. You can tell the vibe here is pretty happy and uplifting. Everybody is in a really good mood for the most part. The alien speed mannequin. That one's about a foot taller than the other one. There's George Noory, host of Coast to Coast AM. And here he is taking photos with folks. Very, very kind about it. The schedule. We zoom in and take a peek here. Can't really quite read it, can you? A little more shopping going on. One of our staff introducing the lecturers. Miss Rodham. A little tarot going on out in the vendor area. Some tired aliens. And some even more tired aliens. They're done playing cowboys and aliens and they're needing a rest. A little too much energy healing, maybe. Yes, you can take an alien home with you. And get some food energy. Celestine. She's one of the interviews too, and a good one. Galactic Earth Council. All right, and these are the fellows that had the rock that was found out in the desert. That's one of the interviews too, the rock. Alien Speed and Saucer Brand. These guys are one of the interviews too. Very nice crew. And these are the folks that made all the saucers and brought them out to sell. Very Broadwell. There's George. Getting introduced, I think. All right, and then let's switch over to this batch. There I am with that mannequin from Saucer Brand, hanging out with some of the other aliens. My new Facebook cover photo. And I love these fountains outside because they look like Aztec pyramids. This is the free energy guy. I'm just about to interview him here. The grand entry. Interviewing Celestine. Interviewing the Creeper crew with JD. This is JD here. He's the guy who created that whole Creeper series. I'm scoping out the free energy exhibit for a possible interview, and then about to meet David, who ended up being an interview as well. And then I finally got the photo with George Nuri. See, it worked out this way. I was about to have a conversation with George, and he was asking like what we were up to at the convention and stuff, polite conversation, and then he got interrupted by several of the other VIPs coming up, and he needed to give them his attention. So he made sure to get back around to me. Now, notice in this one, he's only a little bit shorter than I am here. But here it's a little different story because he's down a step. He wanted to get up a step in this one. He's like, dang, you're still taller than me. How tall are you? I'm 6'6". Yeah, so one step won't do it. But yeah, he was so gracious about it, though. Really, really super cool guy. And thank you, George, if you get to see this. Really appreciate it. And we'll get out of that. And then, oh yeah, that's right. I got a cool new Facebook profile picture out of this. So really enjoyed that too. And well, let's get into the video interviews. And I think before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and mute the microphone so that you don't get echo out of the video interview. So hang tight. Okay, so I'm recording. All right. My name is Dan. I'm the host of Midwestern Geek in Cali YouTube channel. And I'm out here at Contact in the Desert, and we're looking at Saucer brand and Alien Speed. And folks, tell me a little bit about how you got started with this.
So our brand Saucer, we launched it a little less than a year ago over at Alien Con in Pasadena, California. And pretty much our slogan is elevate your craft. So just let's take anything you desire to the next level. We have anything ranging from men, women, babies, youth. We also have tank tops for men, women, and we just recently launched Alien Speed, which is our athletic brand here for men and women. So a lot of our merchandise here reflects in the nighttime, and it's just we really wanted to bring something out that really people can believe in style, have a good time while they're going to these events. Not anything too flashy, but just something that just really resonates with the whole community here. You can just have a good time wearing it, along with our bomber jackets, everything's as
Nice, nice. Let me do that again. I want to aim a little lower. There we go. Now we got it. Perfect. All right, so I want to reiterate a couple of key points just because you're kind of soft-spoken to make sure. I don't know how well this is picking up in here with all the background noise. So you guys are based out of Pasadena.
Yeah, Los Angeles area.
Okay, Los Angeles area. Okay. And then, so the Saucer brand, I gathered, was actually more casual wear.
Yes.
Right? And then the Alien Speed brand was more athletic wear and reflective for at night. All right? I want to stress that point. Because cool and safe. All right, got it. All right. Anything else you'd like to tell me about it? Is the stuff crafted, handcrafted locally?
Everything's made here in the USA. We make everything out of Los Angeles.
So it's all made in LA.
Everything's made here in Los Angeles.
All right.
Everything's overseas out here.
All right. All right. So here you go, folks. If you want to have your cool geek gear made in the USA, right there you go. saucerbrand.com and alienspeedbrand.com. All right, and your names? David? Faye?
Yeah.
Nice. All right, thank you. And you, sir?
I'm Nick.
Nick? All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. All right, so this is Dan Stafford, your host with Midwestern Geek in Cali, and we're here at Contact in the Desert, and I'm interviewing the gal from the Galactic Earth Council here. And can you tell us your name, ma'am?
Yes, I am Celestine Aisha Starr.
Cool name. Thank
I'm
you.
an ambassador to the High Spiritual Council and the Galactic Star Federation. 45-year contactee from the beginning of my life, basically. And I've had many different measurable contacts from angelic energies during a near-death experience, metaphysical understandings as a child, and in through personal contact one-on-one, saucers in the atomic bomb blasts of New Mexico, where they came out for everyone, and eventually was examined inside a silver disc with beings that are the tall grays, that you would say. From my husband being the chief security officer for Edwards Air Force Base, which is World Command, and that is the secret underground base of where it's extraterrestrial. So we ran into reptilians there and had the whole secret ops information. And then later in my life, I met the High Spiritual Council. I was guided to the high mountains of California. And so I've been working with them ever since. I work with interdimensional beings, immortals that appear, and if you move into places of high resonant field, they can just manifest, and it's been my pleasure. So I'm here to talk to the world. We've spent, from 2010 to 2005, a group came together because of the BP oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. And in Northern California, the ships appeared, which are pictures in the book that I took the pictures. And as they stayed over my house for 3 days, I asked them what they wanted, and they asked me to gather the humans. So that began the Galactic Earth Council. We've been meeting for 5 years as a group under the stars and enjoying experiences with the High Spiritual Council and the Galactic Star Federation, and that's what I'm here to share some of that wisdom.
Amazing story. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so I want to make sure to get the book cover in too.
Okay.
So let's make
this
sure.
Is one that's not. Let me just move it
Okay.
here.
All right.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
So you want to get your boarding pass. You want to make sure and get your boarding pass. Come join us, sign up, get information. We're here to talk about the shifting and the reintegration of Earth kin with Starkiller, because the veil is dropping, Earth is becoming galactic, and they have a connection to the Radiant One. So our mantra is glory in the light of the Radiant One, which is their name for the Creator. So the Creator has impulsed this place. They consider the Milky Way as one. Earth is a part of the Milky Way. We're the children of the Sheshata, is what they say. And so what is happening is we've moved into a sector of time and space that has a higher frequency. We've moved from the lower part of the Milky Way to the higher in our ecliptic orbit, our natural ecliptic orbit. So all of these things are taking effect on the planet here and in our minds and in our being. So I'm excited to talk about it.
Excellent. I am too. I'm kind of interested in the concept of different energy levels in different parts of space too. That interests me a lot. My background, I was born under the Aquarian stellium in 1962.
Okay.
So I've got most of my planets in Aquarius.
Wow.
And
Here.
yeah,
Here for the one and the many, as they say.
exactly. And I've been fascinated with space and space exploration ever since I watched the Apollo landings in third grade in summer school, right before third grade. They brought a camera, a black and white TV out into the classroom when I was in summer school, and the teacher was all excited and like, "You've got to watch this, you've got to watch this." And sure enough, I did need to watch that.
You needed to watch that. Yes.
Absolutely. I'm interested also on your take on the Navy story that just broke this last week. Any thoughts?
Well, my first thought was, I'm so happy that they were awake enough to not deny what was going on, not to cover it up. I mean, it's an old story. They've been showing themselves, the ultra-terrestrials, for some time now. So the hidden agenda is dissolving because there's so much information, so much documentation that the government is basically probably trying to find out how they can gracefully announce, yes, it is true. For those of us who've had the experience, and there's many of us here at Contact in the Desert, we've moved on. You know, for me, disclosure happened, you know, way back in the 1950s when they split the world, and you could see delineating line where there was darkness and then there was the light beside them, fooling around with the atomic bomb blast, right? So the ships came out and that was the beginning. So disclosure, hiding, cover up. So I'm really happy about it, and I loved listening to the pilot saying, "I locked on and I got it. Oh, look at the shape." So for our groups, when we go out and do Skywatch, we do it in the sacred way. Prayers to the Mother, because the ultra-terrestrials, the ones of the benevolent energies, they love nature. So we do the first prayer round to the Mother Goddess. I do priestess work. And as they're coming out and we're honoring them, they honor us as humanity. We are galactic beings in a signature body of the Earth. So they really honor us in a high way, and so we honor them as well. And we look at the ships as they come in, and we're saying to I say to my grouping, who's flying the ship? There is an intelligence there. And they may hover over, they may do a salute in which they light up the sky. They may do a sequencing of lights because they're as excited about it as us. The command ships come in and they come through, and you know the difference between a command ship and maybe a little scout ship. You know the difference from a galaxy ship that comes in. They would come in and they have such force and velocity, and then they slow down. It's like coming back into Earth time and time ships. So we go out and we observe, and they share with us their lives. We are family. They call it the Star Kin. We're the Earth Kin. And so we acknowledge who's in the ship. We don't put lasers in the cockpit. It's so disrespectful. It can blind them, you see. So we hold honor on both sides, you know? And a lot of healing work. People have awakened to their own galactic origin. So I do a lot of work. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, alchemical hypnotherapist. So they've actually trained me with a special ed codex to awaken people to who they are before they came to Earth. So once you go out and skywatch with that information, then your kin start showing up. So it's a powerful work we're doing.
All right. Well, thank you, Celestine. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Okay, so we're live. My name is Dan with Midwestern Geek in Cali YouTube channel, and this will also appear on Inland Empire Sports and News out of Marietta, Wildemar, Temecula area.
Northern California,
no, actually it's wine country in Southern California.
No, I'm saying I'm just letting you know.
You're from...
I'm in the Bay Area. But
You're up in the Bay Area.
I'm aware of.
Okay, and your name for?
It's David Raphael, and I'm an MD.
Okay, and David is going to be showing this film, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
Yes.
This evening. And can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, first of all, it's an incredibly beautiful art piece. It's powerfully transformative and totally celebratory. We've using archetypal music integrated with special effects, fractals, and lots of great extraterrestrial images. And the whole purpose is bringing people back into the light of oneness, back into an experience of love, peace, and joy. But there's very clear communications, when I call it Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, with Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Remember they had the ETs playing the music, kind of like Bach? Well, we've done the same thing, but on an even more beautiful, higher level. So it's like how extraterrestrials communicate through sound and light.
Okay,
That's why I call
interesting.
Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. Different music. Because that was a great movie, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That was a breakthrough film.
Absolutely, I remember it
This
well.
is the next level. For sure.
Interesting. So we'll look forward to the film. Have you got a website for the film?
We have a whole website called closeencountersofthefifthkind.com.
Perfect.
Where this is on there. And there's a lot more information about extraterrestrial. We really have a very strong spiritual communication because a lot of people are, about disclosure and the good guys and the bad guys. I'm involved with what's called the Ashtar Command. I don't know if that rings a bell. These are the really highly evolved beings. The Pleiadians, the Syrians, the Arcturians, they've been involved in the evolution of consciousness on this planet for literally billions of years. We are like their creation. They've seeded this planet with DNA. So the key is that our DNA is activating now and evolving. So we're going back into multidimensional awareness. Each human being we are a vast multidimensional being connected to infinite love, infinite wisdom, infinite power. Call that God, Goddess, all it is. And of course the ETs, they're taking their direction from what we call Source. And they are here to help humanity ascend or evolve into a next level of consciousness. That's the game plan. And this video will give you an experience of what that actually energetically is about, not intellectual. Experiential.
All right. It's on a different level.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so
Turn
much.
off the left brain and just enjoy it. Because this is a very inspired piece.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, David.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're recording. My name is Dan. I'm the host of Midwestern Geek in Cali YouTube channel. And can you give me your name, please?
Bill.
Bill?
Bill Alec.
Bill Alec.
I'm the president and CEO of Aurora.
Okay.
And our company is developing free energy technology to introduce to the world.
Okay, wanted to make sure to get the website.
Is a demonstration of real free energy.
Okay.
And we'll show you how that works.
Okay.
So what we have here is a transformer, which is nothing more than a couple of coils of wire that transfers power from the input to power on the output.
Okay.
And we power a load. And so what we have here are what are called specially conditioned magnets.
Okay.
Now this technology was initially developed back in the mid-1980s by a fellow by the name of Floyd Sweet and the Floyd Sweet device.
Okay.
He had a transformer that had a milliwatt of power coming in and a kilowatt coming out.
Okay.
Which is quite amazing. So
It
the question
certainly is.
how does that work? And
Okay.
it turns out that it's called a torsion field effect.
Okay.
And so the torsion is nothing more than a twisting or a change in the phase of the electron. All electrons have a phase angle. And normally in conventional transformers, that phase angle is always 0 degrees.
Okay.
But that's not so with these special transformers
Okay.
that we're developing here, which are modeled after the Floyd Sweet device.
Okay.
The Floyd Sweet device almost had this phase angle of 90 degrees, which means that the milliwatt of power coming in gave you this kilowatt coming out, because the phase angle of the electron was in another dimension. And that's what torsion is. It takes these electrons and bend them into another dimension.
Okay.
So that's what we do with our magnets, and that's what Floyd Sweet did. Floyd Sweet had nothing more than coils and magnets, but what he did is that he took an off-the-shelf magnet and changed the direction of the field 90 degrees.
Okay.
And so the magnetic field produced by this transformer is up, down, up, down.
Okay.
But then the magnetization of this magnet, when he changed the polarity, was at 90 degrees to the field of this of the coils. So that when you place this coil, polarization is like that. The field produced by these copper wires were like this, and it bends those electrons. That's called torsion.
Okay.
So it's a real torsion effect. And so where's the electron going? As you bend that electron, where's it going? Well, it's going into another dimension that the electron's perfectly capable of going. So that when we bend those electrons, we see an effect where the input power drops and the output power increases. It's like, wait a minute, it doesn't make any sense. How can the input decrease and yet the output power increase? We could say that, well, we're tapping into energy from another source, another dimension.
Okay.
And so that's exactly what we're doing here. And it's called the torsion field effect. So it's for real. The efficiency of this transformer can go way over 100%. And Floyd Sweet's efficiency was about 10 million%.
Wow.
So he just had a milliamp or a milliwatt coming in, kilowatt coming out.
That's
So
a huge.
the rest of the kilowatt, where was it? Well, it's in another dimension. And this is what we call free energy. The torsion field effect is free energy. So that's exactly what we're doing here. So if we take this magnet, place it under here like so, take another magnet, and we see that the effect increases.
All right.
So
Is
you
that
can
going to be
stack
displayed
it.
on the DMMs here?
Right. You'll see this drop. That's the input current.
That's the input current.
See how that drops?
Yeah.
And then the output current increases. I'll take that off. See how that decreases?
Yeah.
You put this on, the output current increases, but yet the input current decreases. So the efficiency of that transformer is going up. It can easily cross 100%, no problem.
Understood.
Just
And
by
this is
changing the phase of those electrons.
right. And it's not huge on the meters right now because it's a small
Yeah, it's a small
demonstration.
magnet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Floyd used much larger magnets.
Okay.
So this is precisely what we're doing here. It's just changing the phase angle of the electron. Now this really isn't known in conventional physics. They don't teach any of this in the universities.
Yeah.
Because if they did, we'd be in the Jetson age right now. So there you go.
Yep. I remember that.
Here we're stuck in this positive energy universe where you have scarcity. Scarcity creates money. They don't want you to have abundance. Scarcity. And so we're stuck with conventional wisdom, and that's what they teach at the university. They don't teach this. But I think things are changing. We're starting to see more disclosure, especially from the Defense Department. So all this stuff is going to be coming out, and the whole world is going to change.
Yeah, there was a pretty big story that broke this past week too with the Navy. Yeah. Yep. All right. Thank you so much, sir.
So that's the explanation on free energy. That's how it works.
Perfect. Thank you. And then I'm just gonna get a quick shot down the table here. and there we go. All right, and I want to give it a few seconds on this so they have time to pause it and read if they need to. Okay. And then my name is Dan, and I'm the host of Midwestern Geek in Cali, which is a small YouTube channel based out of Temecula. And my friend Charles, next to me here, he runs Inland Empire Sports and News, which is about 100,000 a month viewership over in Temecula, Murrieta, Lake Elsinore, so over in wine country on the other side of SoCal.
California.
Very much. So, and you want to give me your name, sir?
Yeah, my name is Fred Isles, spelled A-E-I-L-T-S.
Doctor.
I have a law degree, doctor of law degree, and engineering degrees and stuff like that. But I'm really interested in, ufology, because I remember a life I had on Venus, and I was a reptile. And I just met a guy who's a reptile today, and he's living, it's part human and part reptile. And we're going to write a book together. And I shouldn't probably give you the name because, we should wait until we get it written and then publish it. But it's a wonderful opportunity, and I'm all excited about it.
Okay, so can you give me the title of the current book?
Yeah, the current book is 250 Million Aliens on the Moon.
Okay.
And the subtitle is All Organic Life Works for the Moon. Just as in the Midwestern towns, the farmers, all organic life on that farm works for the farmer and the taxman. And the earth is a global plantation, and we all pay a little bit of taxes, and a little bit from every one of them goes to help the people on the moon, build their unit and defend our planet, from intruders, other space civilizations and so forth to keep us going.
Interesting.
And so I found out where we go between lives, and I found out how we get back from the moon after they implant us. They have cannons on the moon, which NASA hides, airbrushes out, and they're 15 miles long, and when you go to the moon, you're a little a ball of energy, an orb. So when your body dies, I've been to so many funerals, and I've taken so many, digital snapshots at funerals. Every cadaver at a funeral has this little orb going around, and so I've achieved my immortality because now I know that when I die, I'm going to have this little energy ball. I'll be taking it to my next body, and it has all my travel logs, my decisions, my goals and purposes right there. And so on a cosmic scale, I can continue working on those things, even though I have to do it through a succession of bodies. And so I found out that how do we get back from the moon after they implant us and hypnotize us and give us new missions and everything? They put us in this huge cannon. It's 15 miles long or so, and it's full of glycol, alcohol glycol mixture, and the little balls that only weigh 3/4 of an ounce. That's the little spheres, the little orbs. They put 1 million of them in there, and they're all frozen in ice, alcohol, and they blast us back out of the moon's gravitational field into the Earth's gravitational field. And then when it enters like a shooting star, it hits the ground, breaks open, all those little orbs get out, and then they go find bodies. That's how we get back. But the beings that control the moon and so forth have kept the knowledge of what happens on the moon away from humans, because it's like you don't want your captors to find out the mechanism of their oppression, because then they could revolt and so forth like they have in the past. So they've learned to keep that secret. And so whenever you see a crashed UFO or something like that, it's a matter of national security to not let anybody see it, and to cover it up quick and put it on a truck and get it over to the Air Force Base or something, you see? Because you wouldn't want people to realize, hey, I've seen a ship like that before. Oh yeah, that came from the moon, and you wouldn't want that to get on TV or anything. So they keep all this stuff hush hush. And so that's what the book is about, and it has all the implications too, if there really were 250 million aliens and they were doing all that stuff, and NASA didn't actually go to the moon when it said it did because they couldn't get through the Van Allen radiation belts, and they said they landed with a lander that didn't have any refractory tiles, you know, for atmospheric re-entry, because they said the moon doesn't have any atmosphere that they don't need refractory tiles like our, you know, space shuttles and everything need to get back into Earth's atmosphere.
Right.
But it turns out the moon does have an atmosphere, and you can see it through the Hubble Space Telescope video images. You can see clouds building up on the crater walls of the craters and also on the mountains on the moon. And if there are clouds, you better believe they has an atmosphere. And it turns out from John Lear that he figures the atmosphere on the moon is equivalent to Earth's at 18,000 feet.
So pretty thin.
Darn thin, you know. When people, you know, climb mountains and so forth, the air up there, Mount Everest is around that altitude. And people die up there, and you know, now there's all these corpses up on top of Everest. I don't know if you've been reading the news lately.
They've been cleaning it up.
They're trying to clean it up because no one goes up there to pick up the bodies because who wants, you know, such a tough job. Anyway, that's how it is on the moon, and these beings, they call them Anunnaki. They're reptilian, human type things. They're bigger than us. They live like 700, 800 years, and so in my book, I've got all, you know, what are the consequences of this kind of knowledge that's been kept hidden from humans, and why do humans have this monkey mind? You know, they have stupid responses, and they're not very smart. If you hypnotize a human, their subconscious mind is a lot smarter than their conscious mind. And how many lies are there on the planet? You know, did World War II get started because the Lusitania was sunk, or did someone manage to sink it out there in North Sea waters? And did the Japanese start World War II, you know, by just on a lark bombing Pearl Harbor? Or did Roosevelt work with him for a couple of years in denying them oil and stopping the trade from China, and then strafing some of their islands with other people's airplanes with U.S. markings? So they thought they already thought America made their first strike, and then they came with their armada, with their aircraft carriers and so forth, and struck Pearl Harbor. And then Roosevelt gave this famous speech in Day of Infamy, you know, where now he had the moral high ground because the Japanese made the first strike. You see, all this was manipulated, and humans get manipulated like this all the time. And the fall of the World Trade Center, was that an inside job? Or was that actually, you know, terrorists, you know, that managed to get control of airplanes and actually bring those down? You see, what's the truth? The truth's been hidden from Americans, and so I shouldn't be telling this on to the media because I could be in big trouble as a whistleblower. Okay, that's all I got to say.
All right, thank you. Okay, so I'm recording now. And my name is Dan, and I'm the host of Midwestern Geek in Cali. I'm a small YouTube channel out of Temecula. The photographer that's kind of wandering around with me is Charles. He's from Inland Empire Sports and News out of Marietta, Wildemar. And he's about $100,000 a month or so, maybe a little bit more. And you are?
I'm Joel Gold, and I'm with Moringa Light Energy and CBD Light Energy. And we were going to discuss the granite stone that I became acquainted with about a month ago.
Okay. And this is the stone we're talking about, and I think it has some interesting, unique features here, and I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. And it's kind of right there by the pyramid, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that area there. Okay, and I think I've got that in the video. Okay, and then I'll zoom back out a little bit. And so tell me about this one.
Well, a new acquaintance we were discussing it. He just mentioned that he picked up this granite rock. It's kind of interesting, and I was sort of interested in what he was talking about, and sent me the pictures of it. Started looking at the pictures, and I see a lot of interesting images that you can see in the actual texture of the rock. And I really took a lot of pictures of the rock, and he took a lot of pictures, and I took a lot of blow-up pictures, and it's just fascinating what's going on in the rock. This morning he brought the rock over here, and it's Oh, it looks like it weighs about 225 to maybe 275 pounds. It's a whopper. And I'm very interested in the tetrahedral nose that's on this rock. And when you stand back, you see kind of a Egyptian look to it, the flare of it like the Sphinx. And you're also looking into it, you see the eye sockets, which appear to be an area that looked like it was either carved or broke out of the rock, except for the tetrahedron. I'm trying to figure out if it was carved or placed in there, or really what happened. I found it in the middle of nowhere, where there was no other rocks out there, just in Death Valley, maybe 38 miles from even a road.
Yeah, and then when you really zoom in close, especially over there to the right, you almost see like a couple of figures walking in a field next to a pyramid.
Where's that, right here?
Yeah.
Where's the pyramid, here?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. These figures, when you blow them up, they're you can see mustache, you can see odd-shaped, look alien-type heads and bodies, and there's other heads coming out of the mid-chest. And really wild-looking, and I can't believe that it's actually embossed out of the rock. And certainly, if they cut it, you couldn't cut around it the way that the granite would just chip. And looking at this, there's some hairline cracks around here, but unless that granite was put into a mold like clay, anything's possible, because this could be very, very old. And I'm trying to figure out, the hairline crack here appears to follow this rock, and the colors look like they sort of match. It's almost as if this.
It's almost as if
it
that
was
were
pliable.
stuck on there somehow.
If it was pliable,
Yeah.
you couldn't cut it to fit like that. So if it was like mud,
Yeah.
granted in a liquid form, I mean, this thing is probably very, very, very old, and or it just fell out of the rock, and this is what was left, was the pyramid. And I don't know that it was meant to look like an eye socket, because you can see teeth and you can see a mouth when you get way back from it.
Yeah, no, I see what you're talking about.
Right back in here, it really has a cool look to it. Getting back here, and
Yeah,
take a shot of
it
it.
kind of almost looks a little bit like, in a way, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Moai on Easter Island a little.
You know, it does have that kind of look to it. And it's almost like he's kind of grinning or smiling.
And then while we're
Figure out if how it was formed, where it came from. Take a look at the second crack in the granite, which it could have been a stress crack, but this one is following it, and there's like a.
right.
I look close, and part of it looks like it's the exact color of the rock next to it. So it's pretty fascinating, at least.
Yeah, I'm not really much of an expert on rocks, but
And there's a lot of things going on. So I'm going to have some of the folks here that are doing lectures take a look at it, and we're going to try to determine if it's of the nature of it, if it's natural, if it was carved by another civilization, or if it's not really carved a long time ago. But it's really, I mean, how did you get this thing in there with it being granite? It looks
well,
like a
not
red
only
granite.
that thing in there, but how flat the faces are there on that thing. It looks like it was chiseled, or well, not chiseled, but more like planed, or yeah. It'd be kind of.
You'll have to let me know how we can reach you, and we'll let you know our determination. What we think.
Absolutely.
Do you have a card or something?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to have to stop recording to grab it out of my back pocket.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Okay. All right. So, well, thank you. Thank you very much for
When you look at
that.
the surface, you see dinosaurs and animals from ancient times. You see a lot of things in it, a lot of people, a lot of things going on in this rock,
Yeah.
which is really fascinating as well. You see it in many rocks, but this one has a lot going on,
Yeah, it does. It is definitely unusual.
which I can't really show you while you're photographing it, but I can show you some of the things that are in it.
Okay.
So I'll show you when you turn that off. I'll show you a few things.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end it now. Thank you.
Okay.
The picture.
Because I just started recording. Hi, guys. My name's Dan. I'm the host of Midwestern Geek in Cali, and you two are?
I am J.D. Knight.
I'm Bernice Schroeder.
All right. Nice to meet you both.
Thank you.
So tell me about creepers. Let me get the banner in here. And then I'm going to real quick come over and get this one. Okay.
It's our neighbor's dog. Fine jewelry next
He makes good video. Okay, so tell me a little bit about creepers.
Creepers is an animation. It's about paranormal investigation, and it's also about ancient aliens. Basically, it's a tongue-in-cheek. It is Beavis and Butthead meet Mulder and Scully. You know?
Oh, that's fun.
You've got these two slackers that work in a thrift store. Lots of strange things that come in that they have to figure out how to deal with. And so they end up going to get their expert sage advice from some of the guests that are here at this conference at Contact in the Desert. So, and from there, they either solve the mystery or they don't. So we feel like this is a great place for our fans to pick up what we're doing, since a lot of the speakers here and the special guests here are a great part of our storyline. They're woven inside of there. So this is a place for people to pick up on us, for sure. So,
Awesome.
Thanks for the
Thank
interview.
you. Absolutely, and thank you.
They can check us out on creeperstudio.com. We can also go to Jack Creeper on YouTube. You'll notice this little character here. That guy, that Jack Creeper on YouTube.
Okay.
Subscribe to him, and you'll get our latest episodes. So,
Absolutely.
Check it out. It's
check
fun.
it out.
You guys will have you'll see me subscribe later.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you can. We have a Patreon we just started as well. So anyone who wants to give us a little few bucks to keep us going, we're a DIY animation. You know, we have day jobs, so we build this animation in our spare time.
I'm there with you. I teach IT to veterans.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, guys, so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And there you have it. That was Contact in the Desert. You can tell it was a tough recording environment. I do most of my recording right now with my smartphone, and that was a tough environment. I'm gonna work on getting a dedicated video recorder with a cabled microphone that I can actually, like hold up to someone that's trying to talk, so we can get better audio. But that's in the future. Meanwhile, it was a really fun time. I definitely am looking forward to doing it again next year. And coming up, Charles and I will be out covering Alien Con on June 22nd, I think. We're going to go out and spend some time out there and check that one out and bring it back to you out here on the channel. So that being said, it's time for me to wrap it up for the night, and I want to thank everyone for sticking with it if you're here this long. And again, YouTubing from 42 TARDIS Way here in lovely Temecula, California, summer's winter home, and may there never be a rogue wave in your coffee mug. And happy Vulcan fingers to you from the Agent 42. Enjoy.